Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Streamrolled. We finished last week with our four very intrepid, very handsome, occasionally rugged adventurers wandering through a not particularly dangerous crypt in which they are taking a very long time to decide how they're going to deal with the clearly trapped mummy in the room next to the book covered in necromantic writings. We will pass over to them now and they will decide just how it is they want to go and get murdered.
Oh, careful of that book, you two. That is obviously evil. It smells evil. It literally smells evil. Although that might be the corpse.
I think that's just rot, honestly.
It does radiate some evil necromantic energies. I would heavily advise against picking it up.
I mean, I've
I did
some
pick it up.
small experience with necromantic things, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I wasn't really planning on touching it. More so just looking at it, see if I could tell anything. Honestly, why don't you do that? You seem to have a knack for these, dark powers.
Eldon, you're the expert. Why don't you give it a prod?
Well, I still have my detect magic on, and it does radiate dark powers. I'm quite hesitant as to touching it exactly. You never know if it sets off any mechanism or trap or of the like.
Well,
So I would advise everyone to stand back a ways and prepare in case anything happens.
Aye, Captain.
maybe we should chop the head off this body before we pick it up. Just in case.
If it is
Oh.
something undead and the book will make it rise up, it doesn't matter if you had the head removed or not. It will get up and attack anyways.
That, and perhaps we don't desecrate corpses.
That too.
I suppose I'll wait until it gets up and tries to kill me, and then I'll desecrate it.
Just you ready your
Alright.
axe.
That worked
Yes.
the first time with that skeleton. So.
Alden reaches over and picks up the book.
Eldon was very right about picking up the book. You have picked up a book that contains a scroll of animate undead, and everyone else can roll initiative. While as soon as the book is picked up, the creature starts to kind of move and shift, and you can hear it kind of splitting as it comes up and sits up in front of you with a long kind of noise from its spine as
Can
it
I
stands
use my
up.
prepared action to chop its head off as it sits up?
You can. I'm just asking for everyone to roll in. It stands up and its kind of face is rotten and foul smell and goo punching out from around the bandages around it. And it kind of turns this horrible visage on yourself. But you had prepared an action, which means you get to move before everybody else does, Baram.
So seeing the thing sit up, Barham's just going to be like, oh, no! And he's just going to smack it in the head with his warhammer to knock it laying back down.
Okay. So your hammer comes down, swings, and it's kind of glowing blue because the undead are around it, and the runes on the side of it are shining light filling the area, and you crack down, and it's a little bit disappointing as it's almost like hitting an egg with a teaspoon. The outside of its head cracks, but you don't seem to get to the gooey goodness inside yet.
Ugh. Well,
Ishmael,
disappointing.
you get to respond.
Alright, let's see. I'm gonna come around 5, 10, 5 and assist Barum with my short. Stab it right into. Try to get to that gooey good.
Oh
Okay.
my lord.
Oh, and that's the same exact as Barum. 11 and 3.
Exactly the same, 11 and 3. So you slips in and it goes between two of his ribs. And there was When you were hitting the bone, there was force, but once you get behind it, it's just like a knife through warm butter. It comes back out on the other side with your kind of the short blade that you're having now. Kind of this long black tendril of goo comes out of the creature, and it
Oh.
turns and it stares directly into Barham's eyes. And Barham, I need a wisdom save off you, please.
Ooh. That's the noise Baron makes.
You dare disturb the goo.
Grapples with it.
Death by goo.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Okay, so you fail your wisdom save, and because you failed it by more than 5, you're also paralyzed. And you're paralyzed until the start of the mummy's next turn. You're also frightened,
Ah.
but because you're paralyzed. Yeah. Nothing extra can do. Rashida,
So
you can see your companions are gathered around the corpse. You could get up onto the boxes to shoot down on top of them if you wanted to move that way. It would put you you'd be
Yeah.
crouched down to the level of the ceiling. But if you have a bow or something, you could shoot from there.
yeah, so you're able to tell that Barham is now paralyzed. Yeah, he stops moving.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
so-
Yeah. Right.
hammer
so
held up,
basically-
stiff as a
yeah.
board.
All right. Cool. Well,
It's
sorry,
just a
Barham.
shocked, terrified look on his face.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm gonna move up and I'm gonna like put the bow, kind of like rest the bow with one hand, like when I'm aiming with it onto like his shoulder because he's shorter, to like aim past his head and shoot a mummy with it.
Okay, roll your attack.
Okay. Oh god. Oh god. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, so as the thing that you missed, the creature was doing, it was flailing wildly, but because of that first blow, it's kind of knocked one of its eyes kind of funny, and it's now got double vision, and it just swung wildly, missing you. The 13 does hit, and it's in that same eye socket that the eye has come out of. It's just got this one arrow that's kind of now flailing wildly around.
And
That brings the action to our wizard, unless you get sneak attack at ranged. Is that a thing that you do yet?
depends which class it is. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if this class gets it.
Only if you're hidden, I think.
Could be.
Maybe. Oh no, because it's
Yeah, you're
engaged.
not
Yeah,
hidden.
no, she would
Well,
get
at
sneak attack,
range?
but not advantage. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's engaged in combat. She would apply
Okay, so
sneak
go.
attack, but not get advantage on the roll.
Go ahead and roll your advantage then.
To the rescue. All right, cool. Bam. Another.
Another 4. Okay,
Hey,
adds up, adds
I'll
up.
take it.
Okay, and then it's our wizard.
Yes. 1 second. My keyboard decided to kill itself. Yes,
That
now it works again.
happens.
That happens.
Kill the mummy, not the keyboard.
I know. Right?
Should we censor kill yourself?
No, I don't think that's gonna be too
Fair
bad.
enough. Fair enough.
Um,
No one swore yet, so we're still PG-13.
I look at the
Doo-doo.
mummy and I cast Claw of Darkness on it.
What's that do? 12 hits.
12
5
hits.
cold damage. Do you want to describe that for me?
I shape shadows around my hand and the claw grows from my fingers. It drips with inky blackness. And it has 10 feet reach, basically. So long, black, shadow dripping claws form from my hand. As I slash at it.
You can't see, but I'm doing the arm thing. So your slash hits, and you kind of pull part of the wrapping down, and it exposes the face of the mummy, whose lips have rotted away, so his teeth are snarled, and the cartilage has gone from his nose, so there's just this one black nostril in the middle of its
Ugh.
face. Barham, you are you're no longer poisoned, paralyzed at the start of his next turn. So unfortunately, you missed this
Yeah.
chance for an opportunity.
I'm
but
still
Ishmael,
frozen
it's your
there.
go.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bar. I'm just like, snap out of it, Bar. What's wrong with you? and I'm gonna.
It's really scary.
It's not that scary. Just stab it like this. I'm stabbing it at it again. It's a 8 and 5.
This time that's too low, unfortunately. So kind of just for once, for the first time after all years, he's finally able to kind of turn, get out of the way of the blow. Because you were the last one to have a go at it and you missed. He's going to turn his gaze upon you. So I need that wisdom save. And while that's happening, he's swinging with this one kind of rotted, molten hand coming down. The flesh is just starting to melt off it. So you're not frightened of what's happened, but he does crack you with his kind of gloopy arm. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage and 13 points of necrotic damage. And I need a constitution save, please.
That way and attack. I was too busy yelling at Barum and I missed. Constitution. 7.
Yeah, con. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fair. You've been infected. You have been infected with mummy rot.
Oh no.
Lovely.
Gooey.
Rashida.
Yeah. So it's quite a bad situation. Yeah. So I'm gonna like grab Burm's shoulder. It's gonna go, come on, you big lug, get out of there. It's gonna like pull him to like get him down onto the floor while he's still paralyzed. To, like get him out of the way.
He's not paralyzed anymore.
Okay. Well, that case, never mind. Shoot another arrow past the
Shoot
shoulder
another arrow.
and not hit him.
Roll
It's strong and
well.
stable here. I mean, I'll hope I will.
We're not May's government. Don't worry about that, folks. We do not endorse any particular political party on this particular show.
Hey.
Tories are
we do-
evil.
Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah. We do endorse, righteous living human beings, and Rashida has just reinforced that by killing the evil undead thing.
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, so
Hey.
quick
Wiping
mechanical
mummy rot
thing.
off me.
Yeah, just so you're aware of what mummy rot is.
Yes.
The cursed target can't regain hit points. Its hit points maximum increases by 3d6 every 24 hours that elapse. If the curse reduces your maximum hit points to 0, you die, and its body turns to dust. Curse lasts until removed by magic.
Point.
So would that be remove curse specifically?
Remove curse or higher.
And what level spell is that?
Not that high.
Is it?
Remove curse is third level abjuration. It would be the kind of thing you can pay to have done at a temple.
Yeah.
And you have
Alright.
recently been to a temple.
So that's can't regain hit points. What was the next bit? Because I'm putting it in my bio.
You lose 3d6 hit points every day of your max hit points, not your current hit points. And if your max hit points reach 0, you die.
0. So the can't regain hit points, is that just my hit points or max?
That's your hit points.
Okay. So I'm stuck with what I have left after that fight till I'm healed.
Yeah, you have 9. You have 9 till you get rid of it.
Yep.
Oh,
My
no.
lord.
I'm like a level 1 character again.
You alright there, Ishmael?
That looks infected.
I keep
Yeah.
trying to wipe this goop off and it just keeps on pouring out. I think I got a real bad problem here.
Yeah.
It would appear so.
Out, damn rot.
Hmm.
Well, this is one of the reasons I particularly dislike dealing with undead.
should we make some kind of roll to see whether we recognize what the problem is and what the symptoms
Yes,
are?
I should have had you do that. I do apologize. Go ahead, make a medicine check with advantage.
All right, I will
All of
do that.
us?
There.
I'll do it. You
No,
do.
I give advantage when I'm asking whoever has the highest roll it, they roll with advantage. Yeah, at 20, you that's what it was anyway.
All right.
Just for those of you
Well,
watching along at home, I do play a bit fast and loose with the rules here. I don't like hiding things like diseases that are potentially going to kill a character behind a dice roll. But Nat has nicely pointed out, or Barum has nicely pointed out, just a little way for us to bring it back into character.
all right. So Borum, having looked over Ishmael quickly, and just be like, "Oh, I've bad news, Ishmael. This is what they call mummy rot for obvious reasons. There's nothing my healing can do for you. We'll need to get you to a temple. Someone with a greater connection to the gods than I currently possess will be able to cure you of this affliction, but alas, I cannot. And no healing that I can provide will make you feel any better than you do right now. Um, hmm.
It's very unsettled, but I thank you for letting me know what's wrong. At least I'm gonna take this chair out and sit on it.
Hmm.
Out of
Um,
curiosity, Bottom, not to terrify you, Ishmael, or anything, but like, what happens at the end of this, like, rot?
well, he'll keep getting weaker and weaker, and if we don't do anything about it, eventually he will. And he sort of looks uneasily at Ishmael and then leans in close to Rashida and sort of says, "Crumble to dust."
All right then, let's. Well, suddenly I got a feeling in my legs to start moving. So, what about the rest of you?
Yes, just let me grab this scroll in case it might come in handy. You never know where you need an extra
It does
friend.
spring to mind that if whoever put this all together has been here working with mummies, they may well have a scroll of the magic required to cure this disease stashed somewhere in this room. It might do us well to have a quick look.
That might be it. Let us take a quick look around, and I pick
Yeah,
up the book with the scroll of animate undead, and I bring it with me, just in case.
yeah.
You're looking in this room. What describe for me how you're looking? How intense is your, is it a
I
quick
mean,
glance around, or are you going to spend some real time to find
oh
everything in
no,
here?
I think we're getting everyone to have to search. So it's
Yeah.
going to be quick, but it's going to be like an intense rummage. So we're going to be turning everything over, shaking out onto the floor, you know, just searching everything. So it's ransacking, I suppose, is the word.
Yes.
Classy.
Okay, so in that case, you do find a couple of things. You find a set of apothecary tools. You find a herbalism kit. You find some phase spider venom in a bottle that is labeled but empty, and 2 scrolls of remove curse.
Mm. All right. Well, it appears you're in luck, Ishmael, because right here we have a scroll of remove curse that should, and I say should, cure you of your affliction. As I understand it, I should be able to use this myself, right?
Yes, quite. You should be able to. And since you found a second scroll, if we do not end up using it, once I study a bit more and uh, I'm more confident in my magical abilities, I could perhaps copy it into my spell book, and then I can cast
Oh.
it whenever we need later.
Well, then here, you hold on to one of these, and
Right, thank you.
here, Ishmael, hold still. With that, Borm unfurls the scroll and begins to read the words in whatever magical language they might be in. I don't know.
Okay, because they would be in a language that you, as a cleric, can recognize. Um, However, most scrolls are written in a language that is only readable to the spellcaster, so it's not a language per se, but it's the way that you understand magic. In
Yeah.
this case, because you don't have access to spells of that level, I would need you to make a wisdom save, please.
Oh, come
You
on.
can add. It's basically a spell attack roll. So it's your wisdom plus your proficiency modifier. Sorry, so 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency. So a spell attack roll for a cleric.
And where should I roll that? Just roll the wisdom save and then add the
Yes.
difference.
Yeah. So what's your roll a wisdom save. Yeah, cool.
Oh, not a great
And then
roll.
plus your proficiency.
Which is 2
Makes it
proficiency
10.
bonus.
No. I'm afraid
Oh,
on this you have used up the scroll.
oh no.
Burns to away without casting the spell.
Looks like
My
I
chest.
fudged that one.
I'm still leaking here, Borum. Did it work? Because
No, I don't think so. He sort of looks apologetically at Eldon and then goes, I mean, do you want to have a go or shall I try with the other one?
Oh, bother.
Sure, go ahead. I could always find another scroll of these, or one of the mages' guilds if need be. So here, and I hand him back the scroll. Go ahead, try to cure your friend.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
It's no problem. I merely wanted to
still,
have it to benefit the group.
I'll
No
try to
hard
stay very,
feelings.
very still and very, very quiet, Borum.
All right. Okay.
Work your magic.
Yeah.
Dog, that's where I'm supposed to sit.
Cross your toes, everyone.
That's more like it. This time, spell comes out, and the kind of the rotting element of Ishmael's skin seals itself back shut again, and that awful sort of eggy, burnt pasta-ish smell that was filling the room is replaced with a warm, more comforting sense of honeysuckle and lavender for a moment, and eventually that dissipates, and the odor of the maleficent corpse in the corner replaces it. But Ishmael, despite your injuries, feels much better than you did a moment ago.
Like
Ugh.
white skin just like sloughing off. I'm like, well, it's coming off, but not continuing to leak. So smooth skin underneath. Think that might have done it.
Here, let me see what else I can do for you. And with that, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on you, but at 2nd level. So you get 11.
Yep,
No,
11.
13. 13. 6 plus 7 is 13.
Oh, you're right.
That
It is
was right.
My brain went. Ah,
My brain did too. This is weird. That so yeah, you get 13 healing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like popping off that. The mummy had like an onyx where its third eye was.
It did. Yes.
Does it look like I could retrieve that without any consequence?
Yes, it does.
I'm gonna pluck it.
I suppose it's not as bad if it's attacked us before, although I'm not entirely sure as to how you're so comfortable touching corpses.
I was practically a corpse a second ago, so while I'm still feeling that effect, gonna offer the onyx Barum, like as burn through both of the scrolls and most likely my life. So, want you're welcome.
Well, I couldn't just let you die. We've been through so much together.
Still, take it. And I take your hand and I just place the onyx there as payment.
Oh, well. I mean,
I don't
Oh.
know what it's worth, but I gotta do something. I can't really heal you the way you heal me, but I might be able to make your life a little bit easier when we're back in.
well, then I'm touched, Ishmael. There's really no need, For now, we're a team. Nay, more like a family, eh?
That is so cliche, but it does sound nice, I must presume. Although I don't know you as well as you three know each other.
Well, we've diced with death more than a few times. I'm sure you'll come to understand.
Hopefully I don't have to dice a lot with death. But
I have a feeling the gods have big plans for us.
boy,
Can't catch a break, can we?
So
well then, we have everything in this room. Mr. Ishmael here seems to have been cured of his little unfortunate infection. Yes. Mr. Borum, I do have a quick question for you, seeing as you're a man
Ah,
of faith.
aye.
I'm taking with me the scroll of animate dead in the case we might need it later, and if we do not, I plan to copy it into my spellbook in case we might ever need an extra person on the battlefield. I
Hmm.
want to know what your view is on that.
Well, I mean, it's a complicated thing, messing with the dead. I mean, it's one thing to say raise a corpse on the battlefield in a life and death situation, but it's quite another to say, you know, raise the dead mother of someone to convince them to spend their coin in a way they normally wouldn't. Do you catch my drift?
I catch your drift. I will make sure it's all morally uh, all right circumstances, last
Mm.
ditch efforts, and all that.
There's one thing I learned in my studies, and I feel this applies to all things, is that power, magic, weapons, they're all tools and they can be used for good or evil. The gods gave us these gifts, but it's our responsibility how we use them.
Yes, the gods gave us these gifts. It is indeed what the person does with it. In any case, thank you, Mr. Borum, for your wise words.
But speaking of which, that book you picked up, are there any notes in there? Maybe explaining what this place is.
I haven't much taken a look at it, but I honestly didn't think of it. Well, let me have a gander. And I flip through the book to see if there are any notes in it.
Looks like frantic scribbling that was done in a haste of someone who was looking for a way to add numbers to a drowned army.
It appears to be that someone was uh, trying to add more soldiers to a losing battle of some kind, something to do with drowning or some of the sort.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it it seems a little implausible, but the the deep one who'd been here for 1,000 years or more did mention something about some terrifying battle that was won by flooding the whole region, hence the sea that surrounds these lands. Um, I mean, maybe it's something to do with that. Could these? I mean, could this all really have been here that long? Does that book look 1,000 years old?
Does it look 1,000 years old?
It's hard to age anything in this place because everything appears to have been water damaged and dried out, and water damaged and dried out over and over
Mm.
again.
Well, I am no my way quite good around books. I'm a librarian. You see, and what I do recall of this book, it's been heavily water damaged, and then it dried, water damaged again, so on and so forth. I can't really guess the age. Besides that, it's probably really old.
I'm surprised it's not paper mache at this point.
Yes, I'm quite surprised by that as well.
Well, the magical qualities of certain writings can preserve them through things that would otherwise destroy them.
That is indeed true. Most wizards use this under spellbook and such.
Hmm. Well, I suppose we'll have to look a little deeper if we want to know the true origins of this place, but I've got a feeling it might be much older than we assumed. On the bright side, that means we may not run into a necromancer, which would.
With a certain damper on things, it is always sad to see a fellow wizard lose himself to the dark arts that badly.
mm,
You're right to carry on there, Ishmael.
I think so. I'm not
Alright then.
using anymore, so you can
Well, you
rectify
want,
that.
you want to have a peek through this door for us, Ishmael?
To the trenches with you.
Does this one have a keyhole as well I can kind of peek through?
The ones that you found, this one hasn't been pried with in quite some time. However, through the kind of worn away slats in it, you can see and hear the shrouds sat around the desk kind of humming and speaking in low voices to one another, talking about, we spend eternity looking at books with no answers in them. I can't even read, but he makes me come here anyway.
Oh dear.
From the other door that I looked through previous, like what I recognized out
Yeah, it's
of the
the
room.
same room. It's the same
Yeah.
room.
How
So you've come
much?
to it from, you've come to it heading east, and now you've come to it heading south.
Like it looks like we're just making a big circle. Back the first door that I looked at, those shrouds talking about books. I think
Hmm.
one of them's illiterate.
Hmm,
Well,
that is quite
Yeah.
unfortunate. How do you wish to proceed? I have two slightly more powerful spells than I've been using, and if it hits, one of them would make short work of one of these shrouds, but I do not know if I should preserve my magic power for a bit.
Well, they're not too tough, these shrouds, you know. I mean, they go down easy enough. I think if we, you know, surprise them, we could probably get the best of them. There may be some useful knowledge in there. It's a room full of books, after all.
oh,
I don't think we can talk to him. The last time I tried that, it just came right up and right at face. So
Oh no, I think we learned from that and use the element of surprise to our advantage. If you catch my drift.
Hmm.
some days I wonder how I got into this occupation or this, line of life.
In fact, it may be to our advantage if we split up and go in through both doors. If they both lead into the same room, you know.
A bit of a
try that.
pincer maneuver.
It's
Yeah.
actually a good idea.
I might have to pick both. Oh, that's what you said. Chris. Like both are locked to and need to pick.
Yes, or locked but need to be picked.
Are they locked?
It would be a simple.
Well,
They are locked.
does it look like you could potentially break down any of the door at all?
Very, very easily. It's kind of
Oh.
rotting, and a lot of the panels are starting to fall out the door. You
Oh.
wouldn't need to be particularly strong to kick this door in.
what if one of us picks the door? Well, Ishmael, you seem to have a knack for that, and the other breaks the door in to get their attention. We could perhaps direct them where we want them to.
Ah, that'll work. I reckon I could barrel through one of these without too much trouble.
I'd like
And
to see
then
that.
we split up with each group having one of the more arcanely gifted ones, so it is an equal split.
Ah, well,
Deal.
how about Eldon, you come with me, and Ishmael and Rashida, you can come through this door all quiet like.
I think that's complete opposite what Elton just did.
It is the complete opposite, but I do see the merit of his words. One force that distracts them with brute force, and one force that sneaks in all quietly and takes them out while they're distracted.
That works.
Which looked worse for wear?
This one looks worse for wear.
Well, why don't Rashida and I head back down to the first one, pick that lock, and you can barrel to one, probably be see if you can get.
All right, Mr. Borum.
Once you pick it open, perhaps
Alright.
wait until you hear the loud noise on the other side, yeah?
I'll take. I think I named my lockpick Trusty Rusty, so I'm gonna take Trusty Rusty out.
I think you did.
Nice.
It was definitely something rusty.
Trusty Rusty. Oh my.
Crusty Rusty.
Thieves' tools check dexterity, please. Nice and easy, this one.
He jinxed it.
It's 20.
Sorted. So you unlock the door. Do you want to barrel in now, or do you want to hold and wait?
Well, I think the
Yeah,
plan was for them to wait until they heard us bust down the door to come in.
Yeah.
In that case, if you're going to
whispering.
bust down the door, everyone can roll initiative, and then we can go back to whatever it is whispering, because I'm talking over him.
Yep. Oh, Lynn.
Oof.
I'm whispering to Rashida, like, I've got the door. Do you want to perhaps knock an arrow? Once it's open, you let one fly.
Yeah, I'll ready the arrow as soon as I see him.
Okay, so surprise, Barm goes first. Strength check to kick down the door, please.
Okay. In fact, I should be on the other side of the door. So yeah, basically, Barham for Eldon, this is what you see. But Barham sort of backs up and then like puts his shield in front of him and just like sprints full pelt at the door and jumps right into it, like full commitment.
Geronimo.
Yeah.
In fact, this isn't a strength check, it is an athletics check. I do apologize.
Okay.
Did he get advantage because I cheered him on with Geronimo?
No, he doesn't. Because the door is significantly flimsy, he is able to make it. Why'd you roll? Oh yeah, he is able to make it true, but it does cost him some of his movement. Make it 15 feet rather than the full 25.
Okay, smush.
S-
So I make it into range of the first shroud, and Barham will, having bashed through the door, is just going to charge through, calling like, "Ah, for God's sake!" Smashing his hammer into the side of the head of the one that's presumably just sat at a bench quietly reading.
Yeah, he's just sat here, just kind of look, because he can't touch the book. He's just kind of looking at two open pages, just staring down and going.
Yep, smash him in
So
the side
go
of
ahead.
the head.
18 hits, 3 bludgeoning. So it's a pretty good whack, but his head kind of tilts to the side and he goes, burn! Nush! And Ishmael hears the sound going on. What are you going to do, Ishmael?
I'm gonna door open.
Yep.
I like crouch so Rajda can see through, and I'm going to sneak my way over here and hide behind the bookshelf.
Okay, give me stealth check.
12.
Okay. Yeah, no, 12 gets you past his passive perception. So what else do you want to do? You've hid as your bonus action.
I don't have anything ranged unless I can throw this dagger at the shroud.
You can throw a dagger. You can throw a dagger.
Okay, is that just a normal roll or?
Dex plus proficiency.
So should I just
So
roll
in
a
your
dex,
case, just roll
a dex
if
check?
you just roll your spear. Actually, wait, no, you're not spear. Spear's not finesse, is it? Short sword. Roll your short sword, but it's a D4 for damage instead of the D6.
Okay. So I'll roll and then I'll roll a d4 if it hits. 9.
9 is too low. He kind of snoops out of the way. That throws your dagger
Yep.
across the room as well. So you didn't hit the shroud. Shroud fellas thing. It doesn't know where you are. It's kind of just going to push through the table to come up to what he can see is just this big ginger, armored, angry, shield-wielding dwarf. Just smashed his friend in the head with the thing and goes, "Oh, it's better than reading."
Oh.
Lunging forward with his hands kind of wisping out, trying to wrap around you. 13 doesn't beat your AC, so it kind of just caresses your hair rather than actually being able to get through your armor. With that, we come to our wizardly friend.
Mm-hmm. 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 I see what's happening, and I merely cast a simple firebolt at it.
Yep. Which one? The one that's already damaged, or the one
And
that you damage?
the one that was already damaged.
Okay, that's fine. So that's -5. So you're kind of. Do you want to describe what happens, or do you want me to do it?
You do it.
Right. So you can tightly ball up your hands and you make the somatic component to come out. This little kind of 3 to 6 inch wide ball of fire lights the room as it's passing through and it spins, leaving a trail of sparks coming behind it. And it clashes into the back of the head of the creature, so it's kind of regaining its position from before, passing straight through from one side to the other and comes out on the other end now burning purple as it's taken on a lot of the ectoplasm before fizzling out entirely before it hits the books on the other side of the room. And the shroud is left with this large gaping hole in its face. It's slowly, the vapor that makes up its form is starting to re-merge back into the center. And while that's going on, Rashida gets a chance to take her action.
Yes. So, seeing as everything's already begun, instead of bringing out her bow and, shooting him, she's going to rush in, just go full offensive, go up and try and poke this thing and trying to, almost like with the sword, or not poke it, but like almost like to make the hole larger with the sword.
Yeah,
in a
like
way.
straight in the face.
Yes. So that'd be. Do it.
Alright,
Oh,
so
sad.
kind of because you go for the hole, it just goes straight through the hole and doesn't hit any of the shroud as it comes back, and it kind of its eye has come back into focus now, and it kind of realizes that death is better than more books, and reaches out to try to Rashida. It 22 definitely beats your AC. You take 4 points of necrotic damage, and you feel yourself being a bit weaker than you were a moment ago. And as well as the 4 necrotic damage you've taken, you also lose 2 points of strength.
Oh,
While that hand is kind of wrapped loosely around Rashida, Barum gets a chance to act.
oh
Mm.
wait, did I forget to? Okay. Did you
Okay,
add the
so
-2 to the,
Barum,
or the? Did you remove the points to the strength, or did I just forget to fix that last time? Chris.
I didn't change it. I didn't change it.
Okay. Well, in that case, it's already there
No,
because apparently I
I haven't
forgot
touched
to
your
do it.
character sheets. You haven't had a rest.
Oh
You
no, wait,
haven't had a
no.
rest since last time, by the way. So you'd be -2 more.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no.
oh, you very
Oh
weak.
no. 5 strength.
Okay, so Barum, having come in and smashed this one in the head, everything's gone down, and he's heard this thing go, "Death is better than more books," and he's just gonna turn to this sort of Shroud and just be like, "You're in luck, Shroud. Time is called on your watch," and just the ringing of this ghostly bell emanates from sort of everywhere and gradually fills the room, and I cast Toll of the Dead on him.
That is a
Uh,
wisdom save, right?
Nope, that didn't work. I was hoping that would
No,
cast.
it
Like
shows
all
it.
the
Shows it.
damage.
So I need you to roll
Um,
2d12, and
yeah,
creature can see a door. Blah blah. Target must succeed on a
uh,
wisdom
only
save. Right? Yeah.
4.
So still enough.
Disappointing, but
Still
there you go.
enough. Yeah. That does kill the shroud.
And
You still have
then,
movement and a bonus action if you've got anything to do.
I don't think there's much I can do with my bonus action, but I'm going to move around to here. So I'll circle around the one that's just come through the table at me, with my shield up, glaring at it.
Okay. Ishmael.
I'm gonna go 5. I'll move, and I'm still like on the ground, and I'm seeing if I can find the dagger that I threw and missed. Just general. And if I fail to do that, and even if I succeed, I'm gonna bonus action hide, like the table.
Okay. Makes you hidden. And what you're gonna do?
Well, I'm looking for the dagger.
Oh yeah, no, you find the dagger. It's about where you were. You know, he
Okay.
was here. You the dagger and missed, so it would be about where you are now.
Searching my action.
Stuck into one of the books. No, searching's not an action.
Okay, in that case, I'll pop up
Searching
and I'll.
normally is, but in this case, the dagger is firmly stuck in one of the old rotten books, and it's the only shiny thing in the room, so you can find it.
Okay, I'll pluck it and I'll pop up like a meerkat and I'll throw it at the shroud.
Okay, same again. You're hidden, so advantage.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do that last. 18.
Well,
Want me to
it's
roll
in
the
combat.
d4?
Yes, I need a d4 plus 1 for your damage, please.
2.
Let's still hit. So 2 hits to Shroud.
Wouldn't you roll sneak damage on that?
You would roll sneak damage on that. Sorry, occasionally I'm gonna forget to ask you for advantage, disadvantage. If your class gives it to you, you need to tell me because I'll forget.
I'm good at rogue stuff, so I'll shout out when I notice you miss it for now.
I know how monsters work, but I don't know how player characters work. I never get to play them. It's fine. I'm not your joy at all. The Shroud, who now has like an arrow or your dagger kind of stuck in its face. It's kind of drooping down as there isn't that much resistance to hold on it. It's almost like you've stuck a match into some honey and it's very slowly starting to sway down. Turns and he goes, I've died once, I'll die again rather than have to stay here serving a race whose army's been dead for 1,000 years. He tries to bite Barum like full force. He gets his nose right in on it. And it eventually comes off. There's a bit of blood, a little bit of flesh stuck in his teeth. And you take 3 points of necrotic damage around the wound, which means you reduce your strength by 1.
I'm actually gonna use my reaction to cast shield. So
Okay.
I get +5 bonus to my AC.
That is
Still
enough.
hit.
That is enough, so I don't hit.
Just so it's like the fangs, like its mouth hits my face, but a little sort of like glowing shield of energy sort of just like exists between its teeth and my face.
Pushes it back.
So it's kind of like it just smushes its face against a window.
Yeah, so with that kind of comical effort of attempting to bite onto Baram, our wizard gets a chance to have his turn.
I once again am going to throw a simple fireball at it, same as before, and let's first see if it hits. Does that hit?
Yes, I believe yes is the answer to that being hit. Yes, that hits. It is it enough to kill him? Is it enough to kill him? Yes, it is actually, in fact, enough to kill him. So this
Ooh,
time, we're like going
I
through. Yeah, go ahead.
I just once again aim for the face, and seeing as it worked as well last time, so I throw the fireball, it goes through, but this time the face just apparently evaporates, and I'm looking at like, oh, that's interesting.
So they kind of slump down, like, no more books. They just relax into a pile of goo on the floor.
What
Oh,
is it with
happy
this place and
ghosts.
slimy things?
I have no idea, but I'm glad I am just throwing fireballs and don't actually have to touch these things.
Ugh.
Are you
I-
all right, Rashida? That one seemed to get a hold of you pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I am, however, feeling rather tired, honestly. It's not as
Maybe
easy holding up this sword anymore.
maybe you should hang back and use your bow for a bit.
Yeah, perhaps. If I can be bothered pulling the string.
Not to, cast any aspersions on your ability, but you've taken a few hits,
Nah, I believe my ability enough to not take offense. Don't you worry about that.
Self-care is important, Rashida.
Yeah. You're going too far now, boy.
I'm just sorry.
Settle down, boy.
Anyway, while we're here, Elman, you know books. How should we look through here?
So, Eldon, having a look around, it does look like this part of the chamber has been submerged in water a lot more than the slightly higher ones that you were just in. The vast majority of everything is destroyed. You do, however, find a single gold quill, which looks to be not particularly useful, but at least worth maybe 35 gold pieces.
Oh, I respond with, well, besides this single golden quill, everything in here has been thoroughly ruined and is most likely unreadable, unusable. So we'd best just leave most things here, unless you want to take some for kindling. Books.
No, not really worth it, really. There's plenty of trees. Yeah. What about this door here? Schmel, what do you reckon?
Well, I haven't really gotten all the way up yet. I'm just kind of poking my eyes above the table, just watching you all do your thing. Just did
You-
did that thing say wraith?
It did mention a wraith. Yeah, no, it did say that. Yeah.
Sound of wraith.
Yeah. Well, what?
No, continue. I'm just give me 10 minutes. I'm going to ritually cast detect magic again to keep us safe.
Well, that's probably a good idea. Anyone else require any healing, or are we all reasonably okay?
I need to rest my arms. He's gonna like slump down against the bookcase. He's kind of like just sit and he's kind of breathing. He's like wonder why am I tired?
Borum's gonna go and seeing her slump down. He's going. Well, we've got 10 minutes anyway. Borum's gonna inspect her and use his medicine ability to see if he can discern the exact nature of what's wrong with her. I'll just do a little medicine
me a med
check
check.
for you. 19.
Yeah, no, you know what it is. She's having some of the vigor pulled out of her body by exposure to the shrouds. A good warm meal, maybe an hour or so to digest that food, or a good night's sleep will be enough to bring her back around.
Well, Rashida, there's basically just exposure to dark energy. The necromantic forces holding these shrouds together has a bad effect on living flesh, and it's it's sapping your strength. But a good meal, and some rest, and you'll be right as rain.
I'm not surprised considering that we're going after dead things. Bloody pain they are.
But you should probably avoid any more exposure to that energy, or it could have, bad repercussions for
So
you.
stay back. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna retrieve my dagger, and before I go look at the door, I'm just gonna see if I can read the title of the book the shroud was attempting to read.
All known knowledge on ley lines in Gnomish.
That funky.
It is a definitively short text.
Is it less damage than the other ones in the shelves? Or?
By having been on the table, it's a little bit less damage because it's been higher in the room. It's a little bit above the waterline. But beyond what's on the spine of the book, you can't really make out a great deal.
I can tell it's about ley lines then.
You can tell from the headline that it's about ley lines, and it looks like inside there was once a map, but the map doesn't match the land around you. Kind of the mountains are right, but there's no water on it.
I'll pick it up, and I'm just kind of like leaping through, not really understanding what little bit is legible. Like, oh, this is more of that ley line stuff, and I'll toss it at Eldon. That might be more your speed.
Yes, thank you. I imagine I've just finished ritually casting.
This thing is
You're
spells. I just
deep in meditation with magic runes passing around you, and a book just hits you in the face. It's like...
Oh no!
oh,
No,
sorry
again,
about that,
you
Eldon.
can make out you can make out the title, and you can make out that it's quite a short text. It didn't have very much information in it, even when it was intact. But now, beyond the scattered word of convergence and Titanic and lay and idiot, you can't really make out a lot.
It is quite illegible. It does mention an idiot of titanic proportions or some kind. I'm unsure. But with my detect magic on, do I sense anything in the 20 feet radius around me, or is it 30 feet radius? I believe 20.
I believe 30, but stopped by walls and
Yeah.
doors. So there's
Oh.
nothing in this room.
I accidentally clicked a
Oh, yeah,
spell I didn't mean to click.
you can have your spell point back for that.
Thank you.
I didn't think getting hit with
blast the
was that
book into
shocking.
oblivion.
I can't read it anyway. It's useless to me.
So
It is.
I've always imagined a magic missile as a kind of popping noise as they come into existence, kind of like.
Oh, that's satisfying. I like that.
Bubble
Yes,
wrap.
it's 30 feet. It's 30 feet stopped by walls.
So, gentlemen, and Kay, and our rogue
Oh, it sounds so
who's going to
demeaning.
pick the lock. It's not demeaning. You're
I
just not a
know.
dude.
I know.
Like if you want,
It's
if
funny.
you want,
Okay, listen.
it
It
is
sounds funny. Okay.
2020. Everybody gets to have whatever pronouns they want. You know, I'm
Oh my.
fairly non-binary, but I happen to use him, he.
Calm down
Right?
there, Chris.
But use whatever pronouns you want, and if you don't want to be lady, then that's fine.
But I thought it was funny. Calm down.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's indeed funny, but we're on the internet. We always have to be careful.
I mean, I
that's
suppose.
that's kind of true, but also we should be nice to people. It
Yes.
doesn't cost anything to have manners, and it's just one of the new things that are manners. I will admit it is weird to get used to, but weird doesn't mean bad. Weird just means weird. Regardless, Ishmael, are you going to unlock the door?
You want me to unlock this door then?
We have to continue down until wherever we need to find the puzzle cube anyway. And it appears that this door is the only thing standing between us and the rest of this, perhaps you should call it a dungeon. So, yes, this door indeed.
Okay. Then
Can you just see what's on the other side by any
Right.
means?
suppose right, I'll poke my eye through the keyhole then.
The room appears to be empty. You can see fine-ish but rotted tapestries draped on the walls, and a small table surrounded by more books.
It's kinda like this room. I don't see anything out of sorts.
It does lead further on into another room.
Shall we have a look see? I'll pull out Trusty Rusty and I like twirling it in my fingers.
Well, if it looks clear, then go ahead and open the door.
Right. It's Dex. Right? For
Yeah, Dex. If you're for what it's worth, forever when you're trying to pick a lock, it's Thieves' Tools plus Dex. But I will remind you, Thieves' Tools Dex, please.
Just I'm twirling it and not even looking at the
20
lock. I just
opens
slam it into the
silent.
lock.
Just whonk, and it's just done. You've had your lock-picking lawyer moment. So as the door opens silently this time, you can see and hear that in this room there's a warm, burning fireplace. And far off at the other end, down the steps, you can hear lapping water and crates kind of gently thudding against one another as they lie in kind of quite old water, but it seems like you're now low enough in the ground that you've reached a level of the groundwater that laps through the Undercity.
Well, hopefully we'll find a puzzle cube in here then. Because I don't fancy swimming.
What's it even meant to look like?
Okay.
I believe the poster did not say. It's something along the lines of you'll see it once you see it, I believe.
Well, that's comforting.
Okay, so as Eldrin comes into the room, he can sense in a little square box on top of the fireplace an item that seems to be emitting divination magic.
I hear.
Yes, there.
Yes, there.
Up here.
Up there. All right.
Yep.
Oh, wait. There's magic in this room. Let me go take a look to make sure it's nothing untowards. I woke up. Do I see the magical aura emanate from? What is it exactly that I'm
It's a
looking at?
little wooden box that has some carvings of different areas of the map. It's almost like a globe map has been mapped onto a cubular box. And there's 5 or 6 little point marks that are marked on it, and it is the object that is emitting the um, divination magic. Or more precisely, whatever it contains is the object that is emitting the divination magic.
Mhm. It's this little box. It is something is inside of it that's emanating divination magic. It's quite interesting. Is it in any way, shape, or form? Can I open the? Could I open the box?
Yep, it has a little hinge on the front of it that you could open.
I call over Ishmael. It's like Ishmael.
Aye.
Could you perhaps check, since you're probably more inclined towards these things than I am, to see if this little hero box is trapped in any way, shape, or form? It holds the magical items, so I'm pretty certain someone has taken precautions. And I take a step back.
Yeah, I'll take the box and I'll kind of twist it around in my hands and give it a look over.
It is in no way mechanically trapped.
Doesn't
You know enough. It's just a simple plain object. There's nowhere for there to be a trap attached to it. I'm not even going to ask you to roll.
it doesn't appear to be trapped by any way that I can see.
Walden and I didn't necessarily catch anything magical besides the item inside, so let's open it up, see what's inside of there.
In fact, but I'm going to slowly like step away out of his periphery. Just yes.
I carefully open the box.
So you open it up,
Mhm.
and a small little figure of a dancing gnome is on the top of the lid, and it spins around, and it plays a little pleasant musical tune. And the item that is holding is a 4 inch by 4 inch by 4 inch cube made up of smaller 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch cubes, and it appears that each one is a different segment of a map, and
As
that
I
they could all be moved freely around an axis.
sorry. As I open up the box, I just go ah ah ah. Oh, it's nothing.
I will
Um,
stab you with this bow.
my excuses. I was merely trying to play a joke, since it appears that we have found what we came looking for. And I gently pick up the little cube. It appears that we have found a cube, and we were sent out to find a puzzle cube. And it looks like this cube here is made of smaller cubes, and
Hmm.
I would presume that that is a puzzle cube.
Looks gnomish, looks like a cube, looks puzzling. I think we found our treasure.
Rightio. When I put it back in the box, close it. Who wants to keep it safe? I
Well,
mean, I could keep it in my over-shoulder bag I have.
Otherwise,
well,
considering
why not?
that I'm meant to stay back, perhaps I should take her.
That works fine too. Whatever you want. Rishira, here you go.
Yeah. She's gonna take it and just kind of shove it into one of the pockets that she's got on her pants.
All
There you
right
go.
then.
Sword on this mantle. This
Okay, so there is a sword on the mantle that I did not mention. I do apologize about that. It is a steel, unlike the one in the previous room that was decorative. It is a steel longsword. It's okay quality, perfectly serviceable after a sharpen.
Got eyes for that long sword, Ishmael.
pretty, isn't it? I mean, the blacksmith town did quite a wonder on this short. Might be a little bit more
Hmm.
weight, unless Russia to your eye on it. But of course, that's if it's not another one of these cursed items that seem to be all about. You're not picking up anything on this.
I am not picking up anything from this sword except the relatively nice craftsmanship. It would appear decent enough steel longsword to use. I believe I was trained when I was young with longswords, but I am not one for using swords.
Up sword.
It's a mimic. No.
Not a mimic. It's just a sword.
Well, you can have it, Shmel. It's no real use to me. I got a sword already. Plus, the swords I got already is kind of heavy for me. So
Okay.
Did
So
you change your
for
mind?
the moment, Ishmael, if you decide you want to use that particular weapon, it would be a longsword. It will work exactly like a longsword, but unlike a longsword that deals slashing damage, this one would deal bludgeoning damage until it has been sharpened.
Just a heavy iron stick.
I'm gonna slap you with my sword. Just gonna paddle you in the face, man.
Okay. And given that our compatriots have ended up a little bit less strong than they usually do, and that they've found the puzzle cube that they've come and looked for, to end this evening now. They have a short rest in their dungeon to recuperate a little bit of their strength, and possibly make the decision that it's time to hightail it out of it. We'll rejoin the action at the same time next week. I do hope everybody has enjoyed tonight's episode, and we will be back for some more. And eventually, I promise, you will find out why the show is called Shadow of Gruumsh. Just maybe not for 50 episodes or so.